How you doing, everybody? I'm Tony Gaglione. With me is Josh Mills. Sean Adams is on holiday. This is Smack Talk, and the reason Josh is here is because Sean Adams is on holiday. It's segment one, and Josh won our sports trivia at Ace's live event. So what we're going to talk about in segment one is NFL playoffs. Kick us off, man.
Playoffs. Let's see. We got I don't know, for the NFC. I don't really think anybody is going to be able to go into Seattle. I mean, it looks like they're going to secure home field advantage, and I kind of got them going to the Super Bowl from there. As far as the AFC, it's hard to judge. You know, you got the Broncos obviously looking good, but at times their defense is just suspect, and
Yeah.
I don't know if you can trust them going into even if Tom Brady comes to Denver, the Mile High City. You know, I don't know if I trust Manning versus Brady. Brady's got the record against him, and if it comes down to that, I got New England.
You got New England. All right, so basically what you're saying is you're stamped in Seattle into the Super Bowl,
Seattle's in.
no matter what.
Yeah, I don't think anybody takes them. If they didn't have home field advantage, I'd see some leeway there, but with them getting home field advantage, I just don't see anybody doing it.
All right, we'll get into that in just 1 second. The wild card right now is kind of crazy in the NFC because you have the Saints leading the division right now, but
Yeah.
Carolina is hot on the heels right now.
Very
hot
hot.
on the heels, and they play each other next week, I believe,
Yep.
if I'm not mistaken.
In Carolina.
In Carolina, and Carolina's defense, if you show that, people have shown that they can get Drew Brees off the rhythm, and once they do, Drew Brees is not Drew Brees anymore.
Oh, especially on the road, you get them outside the dome, and they're in trouble. And this is a big game coming up because if Carolina wins, I want to say they take control of the destiny for the division.
They do. They control their
Yeah,
own destiny
if they
after
win that, and I honestly, New Orleans, it's Jekyll and Hyde, or Jekyll and Hyde. They're totally two different teams. I mean, the points per game they put up, the yards, it's like Drew Brees falls down to a second tier quarterback almost. He doesn't look the same. It's when they're not at home, they can be beaten. I think Carolina's got a chance to steal the division.
Yeah, and St. Louis showed that. Even though they were in a dome last week,
Yeah.
St. Louis really put a hurting on New Orleans offense. As far as the other races go, it's really tight right now. You got the Eagles and the Cowboys battling it out. Your team, the Cowboys.
Both control their own destiny.
Both control their own destiny. However, how do you see this playing out in that division?
Well, this is tough. You know, a little biased because I am a Cowboys fan, but I got us handling Washington this week. The Bears Eagles is going to be key. This matchup for our division even. Going to be a tight game. I think the Bears are probably going to steal that. And honestly, I think it comes down to the last game of the season. This is going to be the third year in a row the Cowboys are going to be in a win or go home type scenario.
Mhm,
And honestly, as a Cowboy fan, I'm worried. You know, it's good. It's a Jerry world. We get them at home, but it's going to come win or go home. And I just don't know. As a Cowboys fan, I want to say the Cowboys, but knowing my team, I think the Eagles probably take the division in the last game of the week.
Here's the sad part for me, is that you got Green Bay, Detroit, and Dallas still in the hunt right now. Okay,
Yeah.
Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers. Basically for me, as a Bears fan, he's pulling a Jay Cutler. They haven't medically cleared him to play, but if he wanted to, he could play.
Absolutely, and I've lost I'm losing a lot of respect for Aaron Rodgers. I even you go back even early 2000s, not even the 90s, which is when I loved football. You have to. Part of Brett Favre's mystique was that Iron Man, that tough man that able to go so many games in a row. Now, granted, we may never see that again. He never really got injured, or if he did, he kept playing. And for football injuries, you're kind of expected to come back when you're maybe 70% or better. Cutler gets hurt a lot, but the man comes back as soon as he can. He doesn't sit out extra weeks. That collarbone injury that Aaron Rodgers is going through, you're talking a 2 to 3 week injury. Ramos had the same thing. And as much stuff as they give him for being a girl and being this wussy man or whatever, he played with a punctured lung and let a comeback victory.
Right? Yeah.
So
Fantastic.
It's I'm losing a lot of respect for Rodgers, and it seems like to me they're almost trying to give this division away.
Check this out, though. You're going to have the Seahawks obviously taking the number 1 seed, and the Saints or the Panthers taking the number 2, getting those first round bye. Now, the people who are left over, whether it be the Bears, the Lions, the Packers in that division, or the Eagles and the Cowboys in that division,
49ers.
they get stuck with the 49ers or the Panthers or the Saints.
And it's really...
And that's your reward.
Exactly.
To play a wild card team, but they're so stacked in those divisions that those wild card teams, would blow away the competition in those two divisions.
Exactly, and that's it. And even
That's your reward for winning.
And I know it's tough, and that's why it doesn't matter. I don't think whether it's the Cowboys or the Eagles. Let's say whoever wins the East and they host that playoff game, I think they're going down the first round. Because you get the Saints. Do you want Drew Brees and them coming? Yeah, they're a different road team. Do you want the Panthers coming in?
Yeah.
Do you want the 49ers coming in? You
No,
don't want any of those
you
teams
don't want
coming
any
in.
of those teams coming
They all
in.
got strong
The
defenses.
only
and
way
games.
that these teams win is if it's a cold weather game and it's snowing like a mofo. That's it.
Bring the elements in.
Bring the elements in. Drew Brees is not passing for 400 yards in the snow.
No.
He ain't doing it at Soldier Field. He ain't doing it in Philly. He might do it in Dallas.
Yeah.
But he ain't doing it in Philly, and he's not doing it in Soldier Field. The only thing with the 49ers is Colin Kaepernick. He's so inconsistent. One game he plays fantastic, phenomenal. One game he's running around the pocket and he's throwing the ball to nobody. So,
Yeah.
I mean, over in the AFC, the Ravens knocked out Detroit out of first place with a last-second field goal. It was like
A
60,
bomb,
yeah,
61 yards.
by Tucker, which was like his fifth field goal of the game.
Yep.
So right now they're in wild card contention. They're in wild card spot right now. The only other team who really has a possible chance is Miami. The Chiefs are solidified. They already clinched the playoff berth, but only because they're behind the Broncos, and the Broncos are just tearing that division up.
Yeah.
The Patriots, I mean, they have up and down all year. The Bengals, suspect. Totally look suspect.
Been suspect ever since that. Andy Dalton's going to go to what is going to be a third straight year of the playoffs. Is that what it is? And he's a decent quarterback, but nothing surprised you about it. Nothing stands out. You always doubt, can he come through and win that big game? And I really don't care who they face. Bagels are getting another home playoff game, and they're going down first round again.
Yeah.
I don't see him beating anybody. It's interesting you brought up the Ravens. They still got to play the Patriots, and the Patriots, even though Denver's right there, I think since they've got the tiebreaker with Denver, I think they control their own destiny. I think if they went out, they take the home field.
Okay. All right.
And if that happens, Payne's going to come there. It's going to mess it up. But the Ravens, like I said, they still got to play the Patriots. The Dolphins definitely could sneak in there because I think since he still wins the division, they'll have enough to hold off. Even though I think the Ravens have mathematically still in it to win it, they'd have to win out. I think since he's got to lose out. But I don't know. I think Miami could come in there and steal that last spot. Granted, if they do, you're probably gonna have to go to Foxborough or something like that. If you win your first game, and it's not gonna win. If you had to come to Miami, now that's a different story. Miami is a totally different team, but they're gonna have to play on the road. And I just don't trust in the Bengals.
So we talked about the big games this week. It's obviously Philly and Chicago. That's going to be the Sunday night game. Tomorrow morning we got New Orleans and Carolina. New England is playing Baltimore, and Dallas is playing who?
Washington.
I think Dallas is going to tear through Washington. It's all a matter of what Philly does against Chicago, which is why they probably flex that game, because Chicago needs to basically win out to win the division.
But I think you guys, you definitely by far have the best chance. Green Bay, playing Flanagan. I used to talk about Roger Ford not playing. That's big. Pittsburgh's coming to town, and I think Pittsburgh's going to handle them. Regardless of your guys' win as far as the NFC East goes, I don't. Even if Philly wins or lose, doesn't really matter. We're going to have to beat Washington and come down to the last game of the season. I think we will beat Washington, but I'm more scared that Kirk Cousins is starting than Robert Griffin.
Yeah, I
Whatever
don't
sense
blame
that
you.
makes.
I don't blame you.
The kid can play. He's a pocket passer. Griffin's, he just needs another year to come back. That whole situation's messed up in Washington.
You know what? I think he's done in general, and I think Shanahan's done too.
Shanahan, people don't realize Shanahan needed to be done years ago. The only reason Shanahan still has a job right now is because he happened to get this kid named Robert Griffin, who was tearing it up for a year, and they were 3-6 at one point, finished strong, 9-7, won the division. Had that not have happened, and they lose that game against Dallas, and Dallas wins the division, Shanahan's out the job last year.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a losing record as that coach. He's
I might agree.
Nothing.
I
good.
might agree.
Nothing good in Washington.
So as far as we stand right now, who's your most dangerous team in the playoffs?
In the playoffs, we're talking about all the way to the Super Bowl before Super Bowl.
I mean, just going in. Who's the most dangerous team? Who's going to be just knocking fools around when they get in?
Seattle.
See, I'm going to say Denver. I'm going to go to the other side. I'm going to go with AFC. I'm going to say Denver. Who's your least dangerous team if they get in?
Least dangerous team if they get in. I'm going to go ahead and probably say maybe a toss-up between Miami and then the winner of the Philly, Dallas, whoever wins NFC East.
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna go with the if Dallas gets in, I'm gonna go with them just because of the suspect defense.
Oh yeah, I agree.
I would say my own Bears just because of their suspect defense. The only difference between the two is that we have a wide receiver who stays on the field until the end of the game.
Cheap shot.
Blow
the belt.
He doesn't like to walk off the field with a minute and 29 and still a chance to win the game. He doesn't pull Randy Moss's. You know what he does? He pulls Sports Center top 10 number 1 catches. His
A little
name's
bias.
Alshon Jeffrey.
Little bias
if
going
you
there.
didn't know what his name was. Okay, who's the big team to go out early? The big powerhouse to go out early.
Well, see, it's tough to me because we, talk powerhouses. The Chiefs gonna obviously have a great record. Well, I don't consider it a powerhouse. If I had to say who goes out early, I think Indy goes out early. The division winner, they're a 4 seed, but I think Indy goes out early. If they got to play a team like the Chiefs that travel well, Andy Reid, the veteran coach.
Yeah, I'd say the Saints go out early. It's pretty suspect once you have a good front four against New Orleans, a good front four against Drew Brees. You get him off rhythm with Marcus Colston, Jimmy Graham. He really doesn't show up, and it's really disappointing actually. Last thing before we go on segment 1, Super Bowl picks.
Obviously got Seattle going, and man, I can't believe I say this because I despise New England so much, but I got a lot of respect for Belichick and the way he gets the way he gets it done,
That just happened?
and just the way that he's able to game plan against people.
That just happened?
If it comes down to Patriots and Broncos and the AFC championship, which I think it will, I don't think where the game's played. Somehow Brady finds a way,
My
whether his
Lord.
defense does it. I got New England, Seattle, and
You know what's funny?
I got the second-year quarterback winning a close one in the Super Bowl.
I have a Super Bowl rematch because I think Bill Belichick is the greatest coach of all time.
I agree.
So I think New England versus Carolina in the Super Bowl.
Ooh,
However, there
Not
is no
bad.
Jake Delhomme this time.
yeah.
Cam Newton is winning this
Well,
Super Bowl.
you're not blaming that on Jake Delhomme. Let me tell you who cost him that Super Bowl right now, if you remember. His name is John Casey, kicker for the Carolina Panthers, who kicked the ball out of bounds and gave Tom Brady a shot at the 40-yard line. He
Okay.
kicks that ball deep.
Does it matter
Tom
that
Brady doesn't
Rodney
get the
Harrison
ring.
got 3 interceptions in that game?
No, because that means
No.
nothing. No.
Are you kidding me?
No.
2 of them were in the end zone.
Means nothing.
All
Because
right.
I don't think he drives the distance there. I just don't think he does.
This is Smack Talk segment 1. I'm Tony Gaglione.
Josh Mills.
Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for segment 2.